Dear friends, today we will start with non-aromatic heterocycles, and today we will discuss about strain. Strain in these cyclic molecules. So let us start. Now we know that the molecule it prefers to exist in a most stable state which is energetically favorable. Staggered conformation. Now we know that in staggered conformations the torsional strain is minimum, so the molecule is more stable, it has less energy, so the staggered conformation is energetically favorable, so the molecule will prefer to exist in more stable conformation. So in this conformation the bonding attractive interaction will be maximum, whereas non-bonding repulsive interactions will be minimum, because these non-bonding repulsive interactions they leads to instability. For a molecule to be stable it should have maximum bonding attractive interactions, and the molecule cannot adopt the energetically unfavorable eclipsed conformation. So in eclipsed conformation we have torsional strain. So what is torsional strain we will discuss in our coming lectures. So means that eclipsed molecule is energetically unfavorable, that means it has higher energy than staggered conformation, and without the distortion of the normal bond angles and bond distances because of the increased internal energy of the system. That means the molecule cannot adopt the eclipse conformation without the distortion of normal bond angles and bond distances. Now if it is existing as a eclipse conformation, then definitely there will be some distortion in either bond angles or bond distance to overcome this energetically unfavorable condition. And when the bonds they are forced to form a cyclic structure. So if we make a cyclic structure which causes deviation in the internal angle from the normal bond angle, the molecule cannot attain the features of staggered conformer. So what it wants to say, that if we make a cyclic structure, then the normal bond angles they are not possible, because suppose let us take the case of cyclopropane. So here all these centers they are sp3 hybridized, and normal sp3 hybridized angle is 120 109 degree 28 minute, but here it is 60 degrees. So that means when we make a molecule to be cyclic, it causes deviation in internal angle from normal bond angle, and the molecule, and if we do this, then the molecule does not remain in staggered conformation, that means it becomes energetically unstable. So that is the effect of cyclization. So the bond angles they are changed from normal bond angle that should be for acyclic structures, and so we can say that there exists strain in the molecule. So when we change the bond angle from normal bond angle, or we change the bond system, then we will say the molecule is strained. We will say the molecule is strained and there exists a strain in the molecule. So what causes strain? Either change in bond angle, change in bond distance, or some non-bonding interactions also. And the main reason that for cyclic molecules the deviation of bond angle from normal valence bond angle, it causes strain which is associated with the internal energy of the molecule. So the strain increases the internal energy of the molecule and it makes it unstable, and the greater the bond angle deviation associated, higher will be the energy and lower will be the stability of the molecule. So the greater by which the bond angle deviates from the normal bond angle that should be there, the greater will be the energy of the system and lower will be the stability of the molecule. We will discuss all these things one by one. So that was to explain strain. So what is strain? Whenever a molecule is distorted from its normal state, either change in bond angle or change in your bond distances, then we will say the molecule is strain, or we can say there exists strain in the molecule. Now what type of strains are there, that we will discuss in our next slides. Now Baer, you already know Baer strain theory. Baer has proposed a theory of strain which is called Bayer's strain theory, and he says that deviation of an internal bond angle from the normal bond angle causes internal strain on the ring. Like as I have said you, in case of cyclopropane, this angle is 60 degree and this center is sp3 hybridized, and for sp3 hybridized the angle should be 109 degree 28 minute. Now this angle deviates from normal tetrahedral angle. So Bayer says that the deviation of internal angle from the normal bond angle, it causes internal strain on the ring, and the amount of deviation depends upon the size of the ring. So depending upon whether it is 3 membered, it is 4 membered, it is 5 membered, all these rings they have different strain. As we increase the ring size, the strain decreases. And Bayer strain theory but is not consistent with the experimental results. The reason for being is that, like Bayer strain theory, according to Bayer strain theory, this cyclohexane, as this angle is 120 degree, it should be unstable, but this cyclohexane is quite stable because it is not planar, it is non-planar structure. So that was the limitation of Bayer strain theory, because he made a wrong assumption that all the rings are planar, but this cyclohexane is not planar. We already know that it has a puckered ring structure. It exists as either as a chair conformation or boat conformation. So the main limitation of Bayer strain theory was his assumption that the rings are planar. According to Bayer strain theory, this ring should be unstable, but it is quite stable because it has a puckered ring structure. I will write it's a chair conformation. So this is a chair conformation of cyclohexane. Actually, this is the most stable conformation of this cyclohexane. It is a puckered ring structure. It is non-planar. So Bayer strain theory assumes the rings to be planar. So that's why the experimental results, they are not consistent with the Bayer strain theory, and the strain theory is applicable only to small rings. For 3 membered, 4 membered, you can easily say that the ring strain is consistent with their reactivity or unstability. But to 6 membered and large member rings, because such rings are puckered, that I have already discussed, there exists a completely strain free chair form. So this conformation has no strain, it is quite stable, it is free from all strain, and because it is non-planar. Thus, the concept of non-planar structure of the ring exists. There exists another concept of non-planar structure, and distortion of the bond angle is one of the contributing factors to the ring strain. So, bond angle is definitely, which is called angle strain, is definitely a one parameter. But according to Bayer theory, as he assumed all the rings are planar, we cannot explain all the things. So, we need some other theories, like the theory exists that the higher rings, they are non-planar. So, we call them puckered ring structure like cyclohexane. It has too many conformation. Out of such conformation, chair conformation is the most stable conformation. Now let us see what are the factors of ring strain. So ring strain depends upon how many factors. What are the properties that causes a ring strain, or we can say types of ring strain? The first type is, as we have discussed in Bayer strain theory, is bond angle strain, which is also called angle strain, or we can call it classical strain or Bayer strain also. This arises because of deviation from the normal bond angle. So depending upon hybridization, if it is sp3 hybridized, the angle should be 109 degree 28 minute. If the angle deviates from this value, then there will be a angle strain in the molecule, bond strain. So as the name suggests, this is because of alteration of the interatomic distances. That is, alternation can be because of either stretching, which increases the bond length, or compression, which decreases the bond length of a chemical bond. So this is second type. Suppose this is a carbon-carbon bond, this is normal bond. Now if we stretch it or we compress it, it introduces bond strain in the molecule. Next is torsional strain, that is very important. We will discuss all these strains one by one when we will discuss the structures of your heteroaromatic rings. This is also called eclipsing strain or Pitzer strain. Another name is Pitzer strain, and this is the forced deviation from the most favorable staggered conformation. So whenever a structure will deviate from its staggered conformation, then there will be a torsional strain in the molecule. So the reason for torsional strain is the deviation from most energetically favored staggered conformation, where atoms, they are maximum apart from one another. And now these are bonding strains, because bond angle will arise when there will be a bonding, bond length will arise, there will be a bonding. Similarly, torsional strain. There are other strains which are not, which arises because of non-bonded interactions, which are called steric strains. So this is a steric strain. This arises because of intramolecular van der Waals forces or steric repulsions between closely spaced atoms. If two atoms they come very close to one another, then they will have repulsions. So such a strain accounts the steric strain because of intramolecular van der Waals forces or steric repulsions between closely spaced atoms. So next type of strain is dipole dipole interactions. So this arises because of the positions of the non-bonded atoms that minimize dipole-dipole repulsions or maximize dipole-dipole attraction. So depending upon the position of non-bonded atoms, we can minimize the dipole-dipole repulsions and maximize the dipole-dipole attraction. So this is the next type of interaction. So we will discuss all these one by one in detail. Here just I want to tell you the types of strains. Now all these strains, these are independent from one another and they change in any one of these. So change in either in bond angle or in bond strain or in torsional strain or this steric strain, it affects the other and ultimately molecular conformation. So whenever there is a change in one type of strain, the other strain will also be affected, and at last it will affect the molecular conformation. So the molecule has to change its conformation to account for these strains, and the molecule will adopt such conformation in which sum of all these strain is at minimum. So for a molecule to be more stable, so it will adopt that conformation in which all the values of these strains is minimum. So that's why the molecule will be stable. So these are some general types of ring strains, and this is a general thing that molecule will adopt that conformation which has less strains, all type of strains, lesser value of all these strains, so that molecule is more stable. So these are types of various ring strains. Now we will discuss particularly about bond angle strain. So let us start with the first type of strain, bond angle strain. Now as the name suggests, the deviation of bond angle from normal value of tetrahedral angle. This is for non-aromatic or saturated cyclic heterocyclic compounds, because they are sp3 hybridized, and for sp3 hybridized bond angle is 109 degree 28 minute. Now if there will be a deviation of bond angle from this value, it will cause a strain within the ring which will bring instability to the ring, and that strain is called bond angle strain. So it is given by a formula. The energy required to deviate the bond angle from normal value is known as bond angle strain, and the energy that is required to alter the bond angle from normal bond angle from the normal value, that will be called bond angle strain. And it is the deviation or distortion in the bond angle alpha. It is denoted by alpha. It can be calculated from this bond angle, deviation of bond angle. First is alpha is deviation, or we can say distortion in bond angle. It is given by half 109 degree 28 minute minus actual bond angle. Like in cyclopropane it is 60, so we will put here 60. So this is the value of a deviation in the bond angle, and the bond angle strain, which is energy required to deviate the bond angle from normal value, is will be given by the formula I will show you. And the deviation of bond angles is maximum in the 3-member rings and decreases with the increasing ring size. Minimum with the 5-member ring. So as we increase the ring size, like here you can see this angle is 60, here this angle is 40, and in a 5-membered ring here this angle is around about 108 degree. So as we increase the size, the deviation decreases. So it deviates more from 109 degree, deviates less than this, and it is very close to 109 degree. Whereas now cyclohexane, but now these rings are non-planar, so we cannot compare here. If it is will be 1 degree, it will further go in increasing, but from now onwards the rings are non-planar and angle will be approximately 109 degree 28 minutes. So the bond deviation is minimum with the 5 membered rings, and bond angle strain is particularly significant in small rings. As I have said, 3 membered and 4 membered rings. 5 membered rings, they have less angle strain, so they are quite stable, and it is negligible in 5 and 6 membered ring, and 6 membered rings, they are non-planar. Now the bond angle strain is related to the bond angle deviation. So as we have to calculate this angle strain, so this bond angle strain is related to the bond angle deviation or bond distortion by this formula. The bond angle strain, energy required to distort the bond angle from its normal value given by E, is proportional to the square of the angle of deviation alpha, and is represented as A is proportional to alpha square, where alpha is the deviation from bond angle. And if we remove this proportionality sign, it will be approximately k theta by 2, which is a constant alpha square kilojoule per mole, and value of k theta is approximately 0.084 by 2, or it becomes E is approximately 0.042 alpha square kilojoule per mole. So you can see this bond angle strain is directly proportional to the bond angle deviation. Higher the deviation, greater will be the bond angle strain. And the bond angle deviation of 5 degree and 10 degree, it requires energy of 1 kilojoule per mole and 4 kilojoule per mole. So these are rough calculations. For a bond angle deviation of 5 degree, we require 1 kilojoule per mole energy, and a deviation of 10 degree, it requires 4 kilojoule per mole of energy. So these are the formulas to calculate bond angle strain. This gives the relation of bond angle strain to the angle of deviation. Higher the angle of deviation, higher will be the bond angle strain. And bond angle strain in small ring heterocycle. Now let us see the value in small ring heterocycles. Now we know that the heterocycles, they are obtained by replacing CH2 group in small ring cycloalkanes by heteroatom. It gives saturated small ring heterocycles and causes change in structural parameters. Like here, if we replace this CH2 by some heteroatom, let us assume by oxygen, or we can have NH. So by oxygen, this CH2 will be replaced by heteroatom. So this by replacing this is minus CH2 plus X, generally X, this will give us a small ring heterocyclic compound, and the heteroatom, it will cause these changes in structural parameters. So what are those parameters? Let us see. The carbon heteroatom bond distance, they are appreciably different from the carbon carbon bond distance. That is a common sense. If we replace some carbon by some other atom, the bond distance, that will change, and the carbon oxygen bond length is 1.436 angstrom, carbon nitrogen bond angle is 1.475 angstrom, and these are shorter than carbon carbon bond, 1.54 angstrom. So the first thing is that with the incorporation of this heteroatom, the bond angle changes, and the variation in bond angles is less important for oxygen and nitrogen, but carbon sulfur carbon bond angle is substantially different. So the angle change is less when we replace CH2 by oxygen and nitrogen, but when we replace it by sulfur, as its size is big, the bond angle distortion is substantial. And in the small ring heterocycles, 3 to 4 membered, bond angle strain is large, and ring strain is mostly due to the bond angle deviation. So the main culprit for the angle strain in small ring heterocyclic compounds, small size heterocyclic compound, is the bond angle deviation, and the ring strain in 3 and 4 member heterocycles is approximately of the same magnitude. So 3 and 4 member heterocycles, they have same magnitude of ring strain, and it depends on the nature of heteroatom. than on the size of the ring. So size of the ring is not an important parameter here, but the important parameter is the type of heteroatom that decides the angle strain in these size small ring heterocyclic compounds 3 and 4 membered. And the introduction of unsaturation, if we have unsaturation, then the small ring heterocycles further increases angle strain. So the incorporation of unsaturation, it further increases the angle strain, that you have to keep in mind. So these are some parameters, the bond angles and bond lengths for your 3 membered heterocyclic rings. This is your cyclopropane comparison with the cyclopropane. Here carbon carbon bond is 1.510. Here you can see carbon nitrogen and carbon oxygen, carbon sulfur bond lengths. These are the bond angles. So as I have said, the deviation when we replace this CH2 by NH and O is less, but when it is replaced by sulfur, you can see the deviation is quite high, and the strain in the molecule is this. So these are the typical values of the strain. So these are some parameters, bond length and bond angles when we replace this CH2 by heteroatoms, and this is the value of your strain in the molecule. Now as we have discussed that, now in the next lectures we have to discuss about bondings in these small heterocyclic compounds, as they are derived from cyclopropane. So it is very logical to first discuss the bonding in cyclopropane. This you have already done many times, so I will just give you an overview. You have already studied these in lower classes. So how we have to explain bonding in cyclopropane. So in cyclopropane ring, carbon carbon bond is not formed by overlapping of sp3 hybrid orbitals along the axis required for strong carbon carbon sigma bond with the bond angle of 109 degree 28 minutes. So normally a carbon carbon sigma bond is obtained by overlap along internuclear axis. Here all the bonds, they are single bonds, sigma bonds. So it says that this carbon carbon bond in cyclopropane is not uh, formed by maximum overlapping of sp3 hybrid orbital along the axis, but the overlap is little bit above the axis, that we will discuss later in the coming slides. But as I have said, it is formed by oblique overlapping. This is called oblique overlapping of sp3 hybrid orbitals, which are neither head to head required for a normal carbon carbon sigma bond, and they are nor parallel for a C double bond C pi bond. So they are like here. This is the overlapping in cyclopropane. You can see neither they are along the internuclear axis for a carbon carbon sigma bond, nor they are completely perpendicular for a C double bond C. So they are intermediate. It is called oblique. This is called, so you can see if this is the internuclear axis, the overlap is oblique. So neither it is on this axis nor it is completely perpendicular. So this is called oblique overlapping, and carbon carbon bonds in cyclopropane are called bent or banana bonds. So these carbon carbon bonds, we call them either bent bonds or banana bonds, and they possess the characters of both sigma and pi bonds. As this is neither a sigma overlap nor a pi overlap, it is intermediate between sigma and pi, so they will possess both the characters of sigma as well as pi bonds. So we can say carbon carbon bond in cyclopropane is weak because its overlap is not effective, and it also behaves as a carbon carbon double bond. It also has some partial double bond character, and the electron density along the bond axis is low because there is no overlap along this internuclear axis. So here the electron density is less, but it is directed away from the ring. So you can see as the overlap is oblique, so here the electron density is high, so it is directed away from the ring. So these are some parameters, theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. These are some angles for angles in cyclopropane. So this type of bonding is called oblique overlap, or this is a banana or bent bond. So that's how you explain bonding in cyclopropane. Now what is the effect of this oblique overlap that we will discuss now. For sp3 hybrid orbitals on a carbon atom, they are not equivalent. Now this is your carbon. So each carbon, it forms a 4 bond, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So as it is sp3, so it says that these 4 sp3, all these are not sp3, they are not equivalent. What are these, we will see. So two sp3 hybrid orbitals which involved in the formation of ring bonds, these sp3, this orbital is involved in the ring, and this orbital is involved in the formation in the ring bond. So these orbitals, they have greater p character than those forming a normal sp3 hybrid sigma bond. This is for carbon hydrogen bond. So they have a greater p character, and each of three carbon-carbon bonds is considered to be formed by either sp4 or two sp5 hybrid orbitals. So the orbitals which are involved in the formation of carbon-carbon bond, they have hybridization from sp4 to sp5. It is not sp3, and bond angle is somewhere between tetrahedral angle 109 degree 28 minute, which is for sp3 carbon atom, and the angle for p orbital, so 90 degrees. So as p orbital we have considered if the overlap is parallel, but it is neither parallel, it is neither internuclear, so the bond angle is intermediate between 90 degree and 109 degree 28 minute. And the two orbitals are directed to outside bonds, they have more s character, which are used to make bonds with hydrogen. So the orbitals which are used to make bond with hydrogen, they have more s character than a normal sp3 hybrid orbital, because greater p character of the ring bond. So to overcome the greater p character in the ring bonds, they have increased their s character, and it is being balanced. So because of greater p character of the ring bonds, they are balanced by the increased s character of the orbitals forming carbon hydrogen bonds. So the orbitals which are involved in carbon hydrogen bonds, they have more s character, whereas the orbitals which are used in the bond formation of carbon carbon ring carbon carbon bond, they have greater p character. And the external orbitals have 33% s character, more than s character. If it is sp3, it should have 25%, but they have 33% s character, and they are expected to be approximately sp2 hybridized, because for sp2 the s character is 33%. So actually it is sp 2.8, approximately sp 2.8. And the carbon uses sp2 hybrid orbitals for carbon hydrogen bonds which are shorter and strong. So if a bond is formed by overlap of sp2 and s orbital, this bond will be a shorter and a stronger bond. This you can correlate with the IR values. While sp4 to sp5 hybrid orbitals, they are used for the ring carbon carbon bonds, approximately, which has approximately 17% s character and 83% p character. As I have said, they have more p characters. So this is the bonding in cyclopropane. So I have discussed, because same thing we will correlate with the heteroaromatic compounds. The bonding will be same, just the carbon will be replaced by another heteroatom. So the things to keep in mind in the structure of cyclopropane is that the suppose this is cyclopropane. So these carbon carbon bonds, they have more p character, and this carbon hydrogen bond has more s character. So that is the thing that you have to remember. So that is all for today. In our next lecture we will discuss structures of non-aromatic heterocyclic compounds. When this is CH2, it will be replaced by heteroatom. So thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you very much.